You are 26. It is 7:12 on a Monday morning. You stand in your kitchen. The coffee maker is dripping. It makes a slow, rhythmic clicking sound. On the table sits a single $20 bill. This is your budget for the day. Not for rent, not for utilities. Those are automated. Those are already gone. This $20 bill is for your life. It is for your breakfast, your lunch, your gas, your coffee, your social existence. If you buy a $5 latte at 8 a.m., you have $15 left to survive the next 16 hours. If your tire loses pressure and you need to pay $4 for air at the gas station, your lunch is now a package of raw almonds and a bottle of tap water. The rule is absolute. $20, not 21, not 20 and 50 cents. You write the number on a small index card. You slide the 20 into your pocket. Your coworker, Derek, drives a white Audi. He parks next to you at 8:45. Derek has a green smoothie in his hand. He bought it from the place downstairs. It cost $11. He took 2 sips and set it on his desk. Derek looks at your stainless steel thermos. He laughs. He says, "Still brewing that dirt at home, man?" You smile. You say, "It gets the job done." You don't tell him that his $11 smoothie is 55% of your entire day. You don't tell him that while he is drinking his morning routine, you are calculating the price of a gallon of regular unleaded. That night, the team goes to a bar down the street. It's someone's birthday. You sit at the corner of the long table. The menu is heavy. The paper is thick. A single craft beer is $9. A plate of fries is $12. The waitress asks what you want. You ask for a club soda with lime. Derek looks across the table. He says, "Come on, live a little. It's a celebration. I'll split the bill with you." You know what splitting the bill means to Derek. It means 6 people order 4 drinks each, 3 appetizers, 2 entrees, and then divide the $300 total evenly. You say, "No thanks, just the soda." She brings it. It is free. The bill comes. Derek drops his metallic credit card on the silver tray with a loud clink. He looks at you. You slide a single $5 bill onto the table for the tip. You walk to your car in the cool evening air. You feel a small, cold knot in your stomach. It isn't hunger. It is the weight of being the only person in the room who said no. Year 1. The first 12 months are not a financial challenge. They are a social elimination chamber. Your friends stop texting you on Thursday nights. They don't do it because they hate you. They do it because they are tired of the silence that follows when they suggest a sushi spot where the rolls start at $18. They ask you to join the fantasy football league. It's a $50 buy-in. To them, $50 is a round of drinks. To you, $50 is 2.5 days of life. You tell them you're busy this year. You sit on your couch on Sunday afternoon. The apartment is quiet. You can hear the traffic from the interstate 3 blocks away. You open your brokerage app. You transfer $450. The money you didn't spend on dinners, drinks, smoothies, and weekend trips. You buy the boring index fund. The screen shows the confirmation. It is immediate. It has no feeling. You look at the balance. It has grown by a few $1,000s. It feels like nothing. It feels like you traded your friends, your youth, and your weekends for a digital number that doesn't even have a face. You walk to the grocery store. It is raining. You stand in the pasta aisle. You compare the name brand for $2.40 with the store brand for 99 cents. You hold them both in your hands. You realize you have spent 3 minutes of your life trying to save $1.41. You feel cheap. You feel like a person who is shrinking inside a world that is expanding. You buy the 99-cent box. Year 2. Your shoes are starting to fail. The leather on the left heel is pulling away from the sole. When you walk on wet asphalt, your sock grows damp. A new pair of simple, decent shoes costs $85. $85 is more than 4 days of your life. To buy them, you have to spend $0 for 4 straight days. You do the math. Monday, 0. You eat the leftover rice from Sunday. You walk to work to save gas. Tuesday, 0. You skip the coffee. You skip the lunch invite. You drink tap water from the cooler. Wednesday, 0. Thursday, 0. On Friday morning, you walk into the store. You buy the shoes. You slide your feet into them. The soles are thick. The support is real. You walk out of the store and you realize something you have never felt before. You did not buy these shoes with debt. You did not buy them with a credit card that will charge you 24% interest. You bought them with your own discipline. You paid for them in advance with 4 days of silence. At the office, you sit on the concrete steps outside during lunch. Walter, the facility manager, is sitting there. Walter is 59. He has worked at the company for 22 years. He drives a faded blue truck with a dented tailgate. Walter watches you open your plastic container. It is cold lentils and a hard-boiled egg. Walter smiles. He opens his own metal lunchbox. It contains a turkey sandwich wrapped in wax paper. Walter says, "The kids in the lobby are talking about the new restaurant down the street. $26 for a hamburger." You take a bite of the egg. You nod. Walter takes a slow sip from his thermos. He looks at the street. Walter says, "Most people spend their 20s building a prison they have to work the rest of their lives to pay for. They call it a lifestyle." You look at Walter. Walter says, "Cheap is a physical choice, kid. Free is a spiritual state. Don't confuse the two." He finishes his sandwich. He stands up, wipes his hands on his jeans, and walks back inside. You sit on the concrete. The wind blows. For the first time in 2 years, the cold knot in your stomach starts to loosen. Year 3. Dating on $20 a day is a silent test of character. You meet Claire. Claire is a graphic designer. She has a laugh that makes the room feel warmer. On your first date, she suggests a trendy cocktail bar where the drinks are smoked with oak wood and cost $24 each. You look at her. You do not lie. You say, "I have a hard limit on my daily spending. I do $20 a day, but I know a place with the best tea in the city, and there's a park with a view of the river." Claire looks at you. She doesn't laugh. She tilts her head. She says, $20 a day? Why? You say, "Because I want to own my mornings." She stands quiet for 3 seconds. Then she smiles. She says, "I like the park, and I like tea." You spend $7 on 2 cups of chamomile. You walk along the river for 3 hours. You talk about things that do not cost money. You talk about the books you read, the things you fear, the childhood bedroom you still remember. You realize that when you cannot buy entertainment, you have to offer yourself instead. If you are boring, money cannot hide it. If you are empty, a $70 steak will not fill the conversation. Claire holds your hand. Her glove is cold. Her hand is warm. She says, "My last boyfriend spent $400 on Valentine's Day. I don't remember what we ate. I just remember him checking his phone to see if the transaction cleared." You walk her to her door. You have $12.50 left in your pocket. You feel wealthier than Derek has ever felt in his life. Year 4. Derek's Audi is gone. He drives a black Range Rover now. The lease is $980 a month. He walks into your office on a Tuesday morning. He looks tired. His eyes are bloodshot. He says, "The management is changing the commission structure. If I don't hit my targets this quarter, I'm dead." You look at him. Derek says, "I can't sleep, man. I wake up at 3 in the morning with my chest tight. I feel like I'm running on wet ice." You look down at your screen. You don't say anything. Your brokerage account has crossed $100,000. $112,450. Most of it is money you didn't spend. The rest is the slow, quiet compound growth of the market. To the world, You are the guy who drives the gray Corolla with the squeaky fan belt. You are the guy who brings the lentil salad in the scratched Tupperware. But you know the math. At a 4% yield, your account is earning $4,500 a year. That is $12.30 a day, without working a single hour, without saying yes to a single manager, without checking a single target. Your discipline has built an engine, and that engine is now funding 61% of your daily life. You look at Derek. He is chewing his thumbnail. He is 28. He looks 35. He says, "I'm thinking about getting a second lease on a mountain bike. Everyone's doing it. It'll help me de-stress." You say, "Maybe." He leaves your office. You look at your index card. The number 20 is written at the top. You realize that $20 a day was never a restriction. It was a filter. It filtered out the noise. It filtered out the fake friends. It filtered out the useless objects that exist only to tell strangers you are doing well. Year 5. The circle is complete. It is Monday morning. You are 31. You sit in your kitchen. The coffee maker clicks. On the table sits your index card. The $20 bill is not there. You do not need it anymore. Your account sits at $190,000. It pays you $20.82 every single day in passive income. The $20 rule has become self-sustaining. You did not get rich. You did not buy a yacht. You do not have a corner office. But you have something that cannot be leased, financed, or packaged. You have zero debt. You have 5 years of absolute psychological armor. You know exactly how much food costs. You know exactly how little you need to sleep through the night. You walk to your car. You pass Derek's Range Rover. A yellow slip of paper is tucked under the wiper blade. A final notice. He is inside the building, sitting at his desk before the lights are even turned on, trying to find permission to feel successful. You start your Corolla. The engine runs smooth. The squeak is gone. You drive past the coffee shop. You don't stop. Not because you can't afford it, because you finally realize that the most expensive things in this world are the ones they sell you to make you forget who you are. You look at the driveway ahead of you. The $20 question is waiting. Whether you answer it is up to you.